London, a place where the past and present sit side by side. As the city wakes up, you can see centuries of stories written in every street. The River Thames winds through the heart of the city, connecting landmarks, neighborhoods, and the millions of people who call this city home. From quiet morning reflections on the water to the bustling joy of the day, London always feels alive. We begin our visit with some of the sights that define this city. The Houses of Parliament and Big Ben standing proudly along the Thames, a landmark recognized all over the world. Just across the river, the sleek silhouette of the London Eye rises into the sky, offering peaceful views of the city below. These landmarks show just how naturally London blends tradition with modern innovation. Moving through the city, London's history comes into focus. The Tower of London, with its ancient stone walls, brings the past right into the present. Nearby, the Tower Bridge, with its majestic twin towers, carries traffic across the Thames day after day, one of the most photographed structures in the city. These spots remind us that London continues to evolve, while never letting go of the stories that built it. But London isn't only its landmarks. Much of its charm comes from the everyday life that's happening in its neighborhoods. From the bright colors of Notting Hill, to the street markets of Camden, to the cozy cafes and bookstores of South Bank, every corner feels full of personality. These areas show the softer, quieter, and more human side of this massive city. And of course, no visit to London is complete without taking in its culture. The city is home to museums and institutions known around the world: the British Museum, the National Gallery, and the Natural History Museum, all offering a look into history, art, science, and the stories of humanity. Whether you're interested in ancient civilizations or modern creativity, London has something for everyone. And of course, you can't forget about game day. Football is deeply woven into everyday life in England, and the Premier League sits at the center of the cultural heartbeat. More than just a competition, the Premier League shapes identity, routine, and community, bringing together people of all ages and backgrounds every weekend. Match days influence pub culture, city traffic, fashion, and even family traditions, as generations pass down loyalty to their clubs. The league's global reach has also turned English football into an international symbol, drawing fans from every corner of the world while still remaining rooted in the local neighborhoods and historic stadiums. Through passion, rivalry, and shared emotion, the Premier League doesn't just reflect English culture, it actively defines and unites it. As the day comes to an end, the city glows with warm lights reflected across the Thames. From the theaters of West End, to the views from the river bridges, to the peaceful walkways along the waterfront, London transforms into a place of calm beauty. It's a fitting end to a day spent exploring a city that never stops moving, yet always finds time to breathe. This is London. Historic, modern, energetic, and endlessly inspiring. Hello everybody and welcome back to Around the Globe 2026. This evening we are sitting here in JFK as we are getting ready to load up the plane and head on out over the Atlantic Ocean to London Heathrow to kick off part 2 of Around the Globe 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking the American Airlines Boeing 777, which has been our plane all along on this incredible journey. One more time around the globe, this time primarily around the Northern Hemisphere, as we will be kicking off a long-haul flight here from JFK to London, and then on our way to Dubai, and onward we go. So here we are. We are sitting here at the gate. We have fuel being loaded up currently. We are looking at a 6-hour flight, a little over 6 hours gate to gate. And we're going to be taking with us about 94,000 pounds of fuel. So we're getting that all loaded up right now. Boarding has also begun of the passengers. Catering should be arriving here as well. And the luggage should be arriving very shortly to the plane as well, as that has all been ordered. So with that, just want to say welcome again, everybody, to Around the Globe 2026. It has been an incredible journey. We have flown into many airports that I myself have not flown into yet in my flight simming career. All of that can be seen in the Around the Globe 2026 playlist. The first 7 episodes are live and can be viewed whenever you would like to see them. We're going to be kicking off part 2, which basically just means we're kicking off the second half of our journey. This is the inaugural Around the Globe series for this channel. So we're doing 2 loops around the globe this time around. And so we are going to be now doing the Northern Hemisphere after we had just pretty much finished the Southern Hemisphere. So to kick things off, we landed here in JFK from Miami on episode 7, and now here to kick things off in episode 8, we are going to be crossing the Atlantic over to London Heathrow. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the cockpit of this FlightFactor Boeing 777 and let's get things underway. All right, first things first, here in the cockpit, we're going to go down here. We're going to go down to the FMC. We're going to go ahead and clear that message. We'll go pause in it. We're going to type in our reference airport of JFK. So KJFK goes in there. Wonderful. We're going to take that. We're going to throw that in there for our position. And then here on the route page, we'll go KJFK. Throw that into origin. Very good. And then we are heading over to London Heathrow, so EGLL. And then we are going to be American Airlines. There we go, 4523. And we are going to be that for every flight here on the Around the Globe 2026 as our call sign. And we are going to be, just taking a look here, we're going to be taking off on 22 right here out of JFK this evening. Let's go over to the, init page here. We'll start entering in some numbers. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and get our zero fuel weight entered. Our zero fuel weight is going to be 385.2. Throw that in there. Reserve fuel, we're going to bring with us 2,000 pounds. We'll throw that in. And then we are going to be looking at a cruise altitude here of 37,000 feet. Wonderful. Cruise index is going to be 94. Throw that in. A little light on the cruise index. We may increase that as we make our way across, but we'll kind of see how our winds are working with us. Cell temp is going to be 45 degrees Celsius, and then here on our takeoff ref page, we're going to be throwing in flaps 5 for departure. And then with that, I'm going to go over here to the EFB. We'll check our CG percentage. CG percentage is looking at 25.9, and we'll throw that in there. That'll give us our trim. Very good. And then we won't get our takeoff ref yet until we go ahead and select our departure runway. So we'll do that right now. We're going to be departing runway 22 right. And it looks like it's going to be a vectored approach out of here. So we'll just kind of leave that there. And we'll go to our, let's see here. Let's go to our route page. All right. So for our route page this evening, we are going to be going direct to Betty. Throw that in. Very nice. And then from there, we're going to be going to ACK. Very good. And then from ACK, we are going over to Tusky. Very good. And then from Tusky, we are going to be going on an airway of N35C. Nope, sorry. Nope, N355C. Very good. We'll throw that in there. Okay, we'll go down here quick. We'll see what our purser or ground crew wants.
There should be enough fuel for you now. It's done.
All right, perfect. So fueling is done. Very good. They can go away. We'll come back up here to the FMC. Our next waypoint is going to be Jupi. Very good. And then we're going to be going from Jupi over to Dogal. We'll throw that in. Very nice. We'll go to the next page. And then we're going to be going to Bexit. And then from Bexit over to Bochum. Throw that in. Very good. And then from Bochum, we are going to be going on an airway once again to Q37. Throw that in there. And then from Q37, we're going to exit that waypoint at Malud. Throw that in. And then we're going to be going back on another airway of Q38. And then we're going to activate that. We'll execute that. Okay, so now we can get our arrival set up. Now, again, you don't have to set up your arrival when you got this long flight like this, but I always like to kind of get an initial arrival set. Obviously, things can change with winds and everything, but definitely if you're watching this to kind of learn how to program the FMC, definitely don't feel like you have to set up your arrival on these long hauls while you're sitting here at the departure gate. So all right, so we're just kind of going through here, checking off a few things. We'll execute what we just selected, and then we'll go over to legs, and we're just going to kind of skim through here. We'll get rid of any of these route discontinuities, and there's another one. We'll get rid of that. Very good. And then everything is looking good here at the initial look. So we'll go ahead and finish up the boarding of the passengers, cargo, all of that, and then we will go ahead and finalize all of our numbers and make sure everything looks good for departure. All right, so we've got the pre-flight briefing going on up front here in the cockpit. So I've got that ongoing. Passengers are pretty much all on board here, just kind of getting settled in. And in just a moment here, we're going to be calling for a pushback. Now, for this flight this evening, I am doing this in real time with what the real world airliner does. So this is American Airlines. They typically take off in the late to mid-evening, sometimes around like 6:30. There was a later flight that I saw around 9:30. I chose the 9:30 p.m. flight because I do want to be landing into London with the sun up, so we can kind of see some of the visuals coming in. So we are going to be landing around like 8:30, 9 a.m. So it should be a nice arrival into the London area. So just kind of giving you an idea there as to what time we're sitting at here in the sim. So, okay, let's go down here. Let's make sure that's on and reporting. Very good. All right, and then we are going to go up top here. We're going to make sure that everything is looking good there. I want to make sure our APU is acting appropriately. Yep, very good. APU is running. All right, very good. So once we're done here with the pre-flight briefing, we will get in contact with the ground and we'll get all of our ground equipment removed and pretty much ready to go. So just kind of waiting for these final things to finish up here before we call for pushback. So it looks like we're ready. So we're going to go up top here. We're going to go better pushback, and we will say start pushback. So we'll call for our actually, we got pre-plan here, so let's pre-plan this. So let's say right about there is good. And then now we can go back up top and we can say start pushback. So now we'll see that tug start to drive up. So down here at the EFB, we're going to go ahead and just make sure everything is looking good here. We'll go to airplane. We'll go doors, make sure all the doors are good to go. We'll make sure those are getting closed. Just the one door is open still. And then we'll go up top here and we'll start turning on our hydraulics and we'll start pressurizing the cabin. All the rest of our fuel pumps can come on. We actually have no fuel in the center tank. So for those of you who may not know a lot about the 777, this is a long haul plane, and this is just a 6-hour flight. So really, if you think about it, this plane, 6 hours is nothing to this plane. So we don't even have any fuel in the center tank. We have 94,000 pounds with us that we're bringing over, and that's not even filling up the 2 wings. So just shows you the duration that this plane can fly, and it's really just incredible to think about. Okay, so down here at the FMC there, it's not really FMC, but we're just talking to our ground crew and purser with it, but we'll ask her that she arms the doors, so she'll go ahead and do that. Alright, and then we'll get a hold of the ground crew, and we'll just ask them to kind of get everything else finished up. Even though that's not really helping me right now. Let's see. Okay. Not going to be too concerned about that. We may just have to go ahead and push back, and everything was taken care of the EFB. So we know we're good with the chocks and all the ground equipment being removed and hatches being closed. So we should be all good to go there. And we're just waiting for this guy out here to get all connected. It looks like he's pretty much good. So we'll go down here and release that parking brake. And with that, we should be good on our pushback. All right, pushback is starting.
Everyone. Thank you
Best
for
of
your
luck and
attention.
see you next
It's
time.
time to get you ready for takeoff.
Much appreciated.
Cabin announcements are starting as well. Very good.
We know you have lots of choices, so thanks for choosing American.
All right, we're gonna go up
Happy to
top.
be your
We're gonna
airline.
get engine number
Now, if you'll
2
just follow
over
along
to
with
start.
me, we'll be on our way.
Engine number 2 will start spooling up. And then once we reach 25%
Welcome
here
aboard. Before
on
we depart, here are some
on
important
N2, we
safety
will go
instructions.
ahead and introduce that fuel.
First things first, let's buckle
There it is.
those
All right,
belts.
25%.
Insert the metal end into the buckle and pull the strap to tighten. To open, simply lift on the top of the buckle. And remember, seatbelts should be fastened whenever you're seated, just in case of unexpected turbulence. To get us on our way, make sure your seat is up, all electronic devices are put away, and your tray table is stowed. If you have a carry-on,
All right,
push
we'll
it
also
all
get
the way
our
under the
chrono
seat
started
front.
here from
If it
our
won't
pushback
fit,
from the
place
gate.
it in the overhead bin. If you have a handheld
All right, and once
device,
engine
please
number
switch
2
into
is
airplane
good
mode
and
now.
stable, we'll do the same
You'll
here for
find our
engine number
full
1.
electronic device policy in the back of your American Way. U.S. law prohibits smoking, including electronic cigarettes, at any time. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors in the lavatories may result in a fine. U.S. law requires all to comply with lighted and posted signs.
All right, engine
and
number
crew
1
member
over to start.
instructions. Now let's review the safety card. Please pay close attention, and before you know it, we'll be off. All exits on this
And then
airplane
the same
are
thing
clearly
here.
marked.
Once we reach
Take
that
a moment to locate
25% on the
nearest
N2,
one. Keep in mind,
we'll go ahead
it
and
may be
introduce that
behind you.
fuel. There it is. Very good. All right, so we've got 2 good engines
All
spooling
exits
up
have
here.
evacuation
Pushback
slides
is
to
about
use in
halfway
an
done.
emergency. When directed to
And
exit,
in just a
jump
moment,
onto the
we'll
slide
be
and move
disconnecting
away
the
from
tug,
it.
and we will be making our way over to the runway.
Some slides may also be used as a raft, except those over the wings. You'll
All right,
find
so like I
the
said
exact
earlier
location
in
on
the
your safety
video
card.
here today, this is
This aircraft
a
is
flight that we're going to be
designed
doing
with
in real
escape lighting
time.
on or near the floor. A sign will
The
indicate
flight
you have reached
for
your
American
exit.
Airlines from JFK to London is about a 6:25 p.m. departure, and then they also have a later 9:30 p.m. flight. So that's kind of what we're simulating here is the 9 p.m. flight. So the majority of this flight, until we get about over, I would say probably Ireland, we are not going to have any daylight. So it's going to be pretty dark here for the first several hours here on this 6-hour flight. But I wanted to do a real-time flight because I want to simulate obviously what it's like to do this flight in the real world, but also I wanted to come into London with daylight, so I think it'd just be better for the arrival. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn our runway turn-off lights on. We can get our taxi light on, and we'll get our flaps set here to 5 degrees for takeoff.
For help locating them, see your safety card. Remove the vest from the package like this. Put the vest over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist, attach the buckle, and pull tight. Once outside, pull the tab to inflate your vest or blow into the red tube on the side. In the water, a light on your vest.
Gotta
will
love those
illuminate.
flap sounds on
And
this
please, only
on this
inflate your
777.
vest outside the airplane. Now, your seat cushion may be used as a flotation device. Just remove the lower cushion and put your arms through the straps found on the opposite side. The crew will now be coming around to do a final cabin check. After takeoff, we'll be back with more information. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. As always, we're here to make your flight great. Because great is what we're going for.
Alright, we can go ahead and release that parking brake, and we will be ready to taxi here. Alright, so let's go up top. Let's get this APU off. We'll go over to our APU start switch, turn that off. APU can start cooling down here for takeoff. We'll be taking off on runway 22 right this evening. And it's going to be just around this turn here. We'll be holding short. Just a short 8-minute taxi from the gate. Not too bad. Definitely can be longer coming out of JFK. Alright, so I'm going to get my LNAV, VNAV, and my auto throttle arm. We'll just hold short right here. Very good. Alright, and while I was setting the plane up here this evening, Say Intentions actually stopped working. A banner came across the screen saying that they were having some technical difficulties and they would not be operational. So we're going to pretend like we got some ATC here. So we'll just say Kennedy Center, American Airlines, 4523 Heavy, holding short runway 22 right, ready for departure. And we're just going to go ahead and get ourselves taxied out here to the runway. So I'm not sure really what was going on there with Say Intentions. I've been using it since... let's see, the summertime, so maybe 5 or 6 months now, and I haven't had any issues really with them ever not working, so it was kind of just a weird thing. I don't know if they were doing an update or maybe they were just having a system crash, not really sure, but no matter what, we'll make this flight continue on as planned, no big deal, and we'll just vector ourselves out to our first waypoint. Alright, so we are all lined up here, 22 right, ready for departure. We've been cleared for takeoff, and we are heading over across the Atlantic Ocean to London Heathrow. Let's get it. Alright, throttle's at 40%, slight forward down pressure on the yoke. Let's go flying. Takeoff power set. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots for neutral. And we are a light aircraft for a 777, so she is going to want to climb. V1 already, just as we cross the threshold. And rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. We are blasting out in JFK this evening. A little bumpy coming out. Go ahead and just stay close to that. Beautiful. Alright, once we get our flaps in a good spot here, once we get everything good and stable here in the cockpit, we're going to make that left turn out. Climbing at 4,000 feet per minute right now. Just absolute beast mode right now with these engines. Alright, so we're going to hand fly this out. We're going to make that left turn now. Just gradually turn the plane. Make sure we don't lose that airspeed and keep our descent. We're climbing at 5,400 feet per minute right now. Just absolutely insane, these engines on this 777. As we just gradually continue to make that turn, we'll keep an eye on our speed. Our speed's looking good right now. Technically speaking, we're speeding just a little bit. You're supposed to be under 250 knots, under 10,000 feet.
You want clearance, hello, you're at 20.
Oh, look at that. Say Intentions just kicked back on. Very, very nice. I figured if I just kept it running in the background, it eventually would come back, and sure enough, it sure did. Alright, so our first waypoint that we're going to be reaching here is Betty. Just continuing this turn here out to the east. Coming up on 10,000 feet. Go ahead and level off, and we'll just go direct Betty. Alright, so we'll go up top here, we'll get our landing lights off, our runway turn-off lights can come off, and our taxi light can come off. Very good. And we'll just continue hand flying for now. Get our autothrottle armed, and let's go ahead and get our autopilot on. And it's going to make more of a turn here out to our Magenta line, no problem. Give you guys a little bit of a wing view here as we climb out of JFK. We're going to get some cabin lighting going here, some ambient cabin lighting for you. There you go, that way passengers aren't sitting in the dark and back. See Long Island out beneath us. JFK off to the distance right there. And then beyond that even is LaGuardia, or as we call it in the flight sim hobby, LaGarbage. If you've ever been to LaGuardia, you would know what we're talking about. All this scenery, light mod, everything. Well, actually, everything you're seeing is default scenery, but I am running a light mod in the background to just kind of enhance the X-plane lighting. It just kind of makes it a little more vibrant, adds a little bit of bloom. To be honest, it's a free plugin. I've had it for a month or two now. I got to be honest, I don't see much of a difference with the plugin. Apparently people say it makes a big difference in their sim. I don't see it as much in mine, but I've just kept it installed and just kept it running. It's never caused any problems, so I just kind of let it go. I don't think it makes it look bad by any means, so I've had no reason to really get rid of it. The one mod that I am using that I really like, that's a free download, called XA Snow. So right now, at the time I'm recording this is December, and here in Minnesota, where I am based, tons of snow on the ground right now. And so when I fly in my home region in the sim, it accurately reflects snow depth. So if you haven't heard about the XA Snow plugin, I highly suggest you check it out. You can Google it. It'll come up. It'll be within the X-Plane forums, and you can download it and check it out. And basically what it's doing is it's taking real-world data, implementing into your sim, and it'll make whatever region of the world you're in, if there's snow depth, it's going to reflect that in your sim. And so snow depth in Minnesota may look different than the snow depth, say, down in Iowa, right? So it's going to look different between Minnesota and Iowa. So really a cool plugin. Highly recommend it. I've had it for about a week or two now. I did a review video on it back in December. You can check that out on the channel as well. But really enjoying it. So at least now I know, no matter where I fly in the world, that if there's reported snow on the ground, the sim's going to reflect it, because we all know here in X-Plane 12 how it doesn't reflect snow unless it's actually snowing and actively in the middle of a snowstorm. So really a cool plugin to have. A little bit of outside view here. Pan around here. One last look at the mainland of the United States. We make our way across the Atlantic Ocean on our way to London, and we start the second half of Around the Globe 2026. Alright, welcome back everybody. We are on our descent into London Heathrow. We just passed 15,000 feet on our way down. And look at this, we've got some sun out in front of us. It's been dark the entire time. We've just had sunrise just about an hour ago in our flight. It's been slowly coming up on the horizon, so we're going to have a nice morning arrival here into London. So very good. We're going to start dialing our speed back here a little bit. We are coming up on 10,000 feet, so we need to be under 250 knots for that. So we're going to just keep our speed brake extended out right now, and we'll work on bleed off some of that speed. We are going to be doing an ILS approach into London Heathrow this morning. I've been doing RNAVs all the first half of the series, so I figured we'll do ILSs the second half. So this will be our first ILS landing here into London. Alright, so right now I have VNAV off. We're just doing a vertical speed because I want to manage my speed here. I don't want VNAV on. For those of you who have been flying this plane, know that this plane still kind of has some things with VNAV going on, but just in a general sense, anytime that you are struggling with maintaining your speed or getting your plane to slow down, you do want to disengage VNAV from what I understand. Going to a vertical speed where you can go in and manually adjust your descent rate will help you kind of bleed off that speed a little easier. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm just making sure that I've got everything dialed in how I want. I've got my altitude, and you can see here on my screen where my bow is there. That's where I'm going to be reaching 7,000 feet with my current speed and my current descent rate. So I'm just making sure everything is matching what I want. And since I've got that dialed in, I'm going to go ahead and get 3,000 feet entered in, and I know I want to be at 3,000 feet at my next waypoint. So now I can go in and adjust my vertical speed to the right amount, and so that way that arc that we see on the screen there, I want that arc to match my next waypoint. So now you can see my speed starting to dial back here. We're coming up on 10,000 feet, and we'll go ahead and get the cabin ready for arrival. Alright, nice little wing view. We got London down beneath us. London out ahead of us here. You can see the Thames River kind of winding around up ahead. And we're coming up on 4,000 feet. And we're going to be making our turn into the airport. The airport is actually off to our right at the moment. See the city of London down below. A little outside view. Looks good. Again, this is all default scenery here for X-Plane 12. Alright, so we are looking good here. We are at 162 for our speed. Our final landing speed is going to be 143. We'll get that dialed in here as soon as we make this turn towards the runway and we have visual. You can see on our flight time here, we're just over 6 hours, so right on time here this morning. Trying to see if we can spot anything of note here. I think I see the London Eye off there in the distance. You can see on my screen it says fuel quantity low. I was a little nervous about the fuel amount at the very beginning. I should have asked for more fuel at the beginning. We are just going to have enough to make it in, but let's not hope for a go around here, because I really don't want to be flying I don't want to be flying around London here with hardly any fuel left. We're going to have to get this plane down and get it to the gate. But definitely should have had some more fuel on board. I think another 5,000-10,000 pounds would have definitely been a smart idea. We did fly over when we were over Ireland. We did go through quite a severe thunderstorm, lots of turbulence, and I think we lost a lot of our airspeed, which is why we are low on our fuel here at the moment. So, but you know, as a pilot, you got to plan for that. So that is on me. I should have planned a little bit better, but we're going to be okay. We're going to get down on the ground. We're going to be safe. We're currently about 8 miles out, so we're going to be looking good. So no worries, friends. All right, 2,500 is dialed in on the altitude. We got the runway out in front of us for 27 left. We are going to be taking control of this airplane. We'll go ahead and arm approach for our ILS. And we are on our descent here into London Heathrow. We're going to get our final speed. Oh, don't want to do that. Come on, FlightFactor. Work with me here. All right, we're going to get our final landing speed in. Let's just go ahead and set that to... Let's see, let's do 143. Okay, 143 is good. All right, we'll get our landing gear down. And we are going to be taking control here in just a moment. Got a bit of a crosswind coming from our right to left, 12 miles per hour. All right, we'll go flaps 25. Currently 4.5 miles out. I have to say, I really do like these ILS approaches. I think the ILS approaches really set you up better for your arrival. RNAVs are fun and everything. You get some cool RNAV approaches, but I like these ILS approaches much better in terms of just getting you on that proper slope. All right, well, here we go. All right, my airplane. Time to concentrate on the landing here.
1,000.
Check.
Approaching 27 left.
All right, and we'll go flaps 30. Point that nose down a little bit. You see we got 3 white here on the PAPI, so it says we're a little high. No big deal. We'll go ahead and correct that. Nice long runway here at London Heathrow, so no worries there. Just don't want to float it.
$500.
Cross check.
400. 300. Approaching minimums.
A little bit of gust there. Continue.
200. Minimums.
Landing.
$100. 50. 40. 30.
All right, cut that throttle.
20.
Start the flare. Just hold it. We're down. Ooh. All right. All right, reversers out. Keep center line. I'll be curious to know what that landing rate is. You guys already know. I'm going to put it on the screen here. All right, 80 knots, reverser stowed. We'll switch over to manual braking, and we'll go ahead and vacate off here to the right. Valenta is saying it's a minus 332. Wow, okay. Well, I'll take a minus 300 and a 777 any day. That just looked harder than a 332. May have to look at my FS realistic settings, or my XP realistic settings, I should say. All right, we'll go ahead and clean up our flaps. All right, we will go ahead and Taxi to the gate. We do need to get that APU turned on. Whoops. Let's see, let's go up top here. Let's get this APU turned on. Very good. Alright, APU can start up. And we'll get our spoilers in and start cleaning up the airplane. Alright, friends, very good. We are down in London Heathrow. We're going to be just taxiing right off here to the right. We don't have far to go for our gate. We'll be taking this next right, I believe. Just verifying that here on my other monitor. Yep, we're going to be taking a right here. Just okay. I'm going a little fast for that turn, so I'm just going to slow her down. We're going to take this next one. A little bit of a scenery issue here. Don't mind us. We're just going to go through the grass. Don't worry. We got yeah, we're going to just thread the needle. Thread the needle. There we go. All right, look at that. That's a professional pilot right there, you guys. Right there. That is a professional taxi driver right there on the tarmac. All right. Don't mind us. We're not from here. All right. APU bleed can come on. Very good. And then we're just going to go down here. I think we're going to be parking next to this Delta off to the left. Boy, we didn't have any rain coming in, but it sure looks like it did rain recently here with all these puddles on the ground. Very fitting for London. Alright, perfect. Alright, yeah, we're going to take this gate right here next to the Delta and the Virgin Atlantic. Alright, very good. We'll go ahead and just call it good there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this parking brake set. And then with that, we can go up top here. We'll ask for the jetway. And then also now, we can go ahead and get our engine number 2 and engine number 1 off. Very good. And now we need to get in contact with the purser and ground. Just waiting for these engines to spool down here all the way. Alright, so we'll go down here, we'll get in contact with the purser, and we're going to ask for doors to be put to manual mode, and that will start the deboard process. And then we'll go up top and we'll get our seatbelt signs to off, electronic sign to off. Alright, then we'll get in touch here with the grounds crew. And we'll get things outside going here for deboarding as well.
Hi, this is the captain. Hope you are all doing well today.
Good day, sir.
Alright, so we'll set
We need
chocks.
some equipment connected.
Make your choice.
Shocks.
No problem. Any other requests?
And then, yes, I think this
Yes.
process here is always so clunky. I wish
Anything
that
else?
FlightFactor would kind of streamline this a little bit.
Yes.
You should be able to request more than one thing at once, rather than having them just take one request at a time. And actually, if you go over here to the EFB and you go to airplane, then you can go over here and then you can just select unload, and that's actually an easier way. You can also go to a screen in the EFB to just manually select things, which
We are ready for the
really
flight to
is
be
the better
underway.
way to do it. So,
All right.
Yeah. Always room for improvement on some things. But, all right, up top here, we'll go ahead and just get our lights set here at the gate. Runway turn-off lights should have been off already. Taxi lights already should have been off. Strobe should have been off before we got to the gate. And we are looking good here, friends. All right, and so with that, we are officially down here in London. We are deboarding. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up episode number 8 here of Around the Globe 2026. We are heading to Dubai next, and I am very excited for this next leg. This next leg is actually the one leg I'm looking forward to the most. I've never flown into Dubai. I've done this hobby since 2017, and I have never flown into Dubai, so I'm very excited. And also with that, we're going to be checking out the new scenery by Laminar Research that was put into the sim this past year in 2025 for Dubai. So other than just seeing pictures of it online, I want to go and fly there and check it out. And the only way I go to destinations in my sim, the way I do it, is if I want to go see something, I got to fly there. So the next flight will be exactly that. So make sure you are tuning in next week. The episode will be airing on Friday evening, so make sure you're checking that out as we make that trip from London over to Dubai. And until then, friends, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.
you.